healed. Oh, I'm glad you're here. Would you do me a favor? I am Malchus. Would you say, "Hey, Malchus," on the count of 3? 1, 2, 3.
Hey, Malchus.
I can hear your voice in this ear. I can hear your voice. I don't know how. How could it be? It was severed. I felt the blade. It sliced my ear completely off, and I saw it on the ground. And look, that's my blood. I was bleeding badly. But now, there's no wound, no blood. I am healed. He touched me, and he healed me. I don't understand. I came to him with the traitor. I should go back to my master. That's where they'll be taking him. But I've got to figure this out. I don't understand. Can I tell you what happened? Oh, where to start? Like I said, I am Malchus, servant of Caiaphas, the Jewish high priest. You don't appear to be from Jerusalem. Surely you've heard of Caiaphas, the most powerful Jew in the nation? I have served him for many years. I have his confidence. You see, he has many enemies. But I have his trust. Caiaphas trusts me because I listen. There are many plots, many secrets being whispered all around. And Caiaphas depends on me to listen and tell him of dangers and treachery. "Malchus," he says, "you are my ears in the city." Caiaphas depends on me to listen for rumors and unrest. He still treats me like a slave, but I'm a necessary slave. Well, not long ago, he told me to find out what I could about someone named Jesus, a carpenter from Nazareth, who was becoming a revolutionary. I had already heard things about him, like he was a worker of miracles and an eloquent teacher. But I sensed in my master something like fear of this Jesus. I'd heard of attempts by the religious leaders to trap Jesus in his words, but he always threw their words back upon them and humiliated them. So I looked and waited for an opportunity to see him and hear him for myself. I don't know what I expected. I guess I thought I would hear a zealot, someone with fiery words about overthrowing the government. But when I finally found him, he wasn't at all what I expected. It was in the temple. I remember it so clearly. He said, "To everyone who has an ear to hear, come to me, all you who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls." As he spoke, I thought of my master, Caiaphas, and how he always put heavy burdens on people, demanding that they live by a standard of the law that he himself didn't even keep. I found myself wondering, why did he feel so threatened by this Jesus? Well, I didn't let myself think about that too long, because I knew that information that would trap Jesus would gain me much favor. So I listened. I asked around. And finally, I heard something useful. It seems that one of his disciples, the treasurer, a man named Judas, had had a disagreement with Jesus at a dinner party about the waste of some expensive perfume. I thought this could be useful. Someone close to Jesus who loves money. So I set up a meeting. I found this Judas and told him the chief priest might be willing to pay him in silver if he was willing to cooperate. And that's what he did. He agreed to lead them to Jesus. I found myself disgusted working with an obvious traitor. But was I any better? My own desire for approval and advancement motivated me to trap an innocent man. So we came up with a plan. A very dark plan. Judas told us about this place, the Garden of Gethsemane, where Jesus often camped. He told us he was all but certain that Jesus would come here after he ate the Passover with his other followers. It would be dark, and there would be a few others with him. So Judas told us that he would make sure we knew which one Jesus was. He would greet him with a kiss. A kiss. And upon this promise, we paid him 30 pieces of silver. Blood money. Judas said to me, "Malchus, one of the others is unpredictable, a real hothead. His name is Simon, and he could become violent. You should come armed and ready for a fight." Tonight was the night. Judas showed up, and we quickly assembled with the temple guard. And we followed Judas down through the Kidron Valley into the garden. It's usually a beautiful place, but tonight it seemed heavy with darkness and evil. We made our way through the trees, and all of a sudden there they were, 4 of them. I could spot right away which one Jesus was, because the other 3 looked dazed and frightened. Jesus looked sorrowful, like he was bearing some great burden. Judas walked right up to him and gave the signal. He kissed him. "Greetings, Master," he said. Jesus looked at him. Even in the torchlight, I could see the sadness in his eyes. And, I don't know, love. Love for the one who was betraying him. He spoke to him. He spoke to him by name. "Judas, is this how you betray me? With a kiss?" It was at that moment that everything exploded. The 3 followers pulled their swords, and one of them started slashing, and he struck my ear. It was cut off. I swear I saw it. And I felt where the blade struck, and pain exploded in my head, and I fell to the ground. I could hear muffled struggles and shouts all around me, and I felt myself losing consciousness, and then silence. I think Jesus was speaking, but I couldn't tell. I had so much pain, but I felt a hand right on my head, right where the wound was, and warmth replaced the pain. And all of a sudden, I could hear. He took his hand away, and I reached up, and my ear was healed. The blood was still fresh on my shoulder, but he touched me. He healed me. Jesus spoke in a gentle, strong voice. Why did you come after me like this, with weapons and swords? Did you think I was leading a rebellion? In that moment, I knew this wasn't a voice of a carpenter or a zealot or even a revolutionary. It was the voice of God. All my life I've been listening for voices, but I've never heard truth and love like this night. I don't know what they're going to do with Jesus. People are saying crucifixion, but I know I'm going to hear his voice, the voice of God again. And I know I'm going to hear his voice again. Oh, he's speaking to me now. Oh, and I know and believe he's speaking to you too. Will you listen? To everyone who has an ear to hear.